Hi, it's Talking Reds. Before we start, I just got a message off Johnny Milburn, who you may have seen on Talking Reds, but also he's been on the shows. Good lad, good laugh. Breaking news this. He says, I'm not normally one for believing in omens, but this one's caught my eye. I mean, you know, Liverpool in the semi-final of the European Cup. He says, in 1977, when Liverpool won the European Cup, Everton were shit and had wooden seats. In 1978, when Liverpool won the European Cup, Everton were shit and had wooden seats. In 1981, when Liverpool won the European Cup, Everton were shit and had wooden seats. In 1984, when Liverpool won the European Cup, Everton were shit and had wooden seats. In 2005, when Liverpool won the European Cup, Everton were shit and had wooden seats. And would you Adam and Eve it in 2018? Everton are still shit and have just repainted those wooden seats. Paul Mason. I'm going to start with Paul Mason. How about that, eh?
What's he been
Paul
doing?
Mason,
what's he been up to?
with his mad rhyme and slang. But he reckons that the Reds are going to rest Mo Salah, and no one else in the world reckons that's going to happen. The Echo's running a poll on it as well, just to see whether, you know, fans want that. Me, nah.
It actually says on the agenda here, fuck that, la.
Why would you rest him? Why would you rest him?
He won't want to.
I don't want that Harry Kane fella with all that spit sloshing around in his mouth, winning the
struggling to say words,
winning the golden boot. Imagine listening to his acceptance speech. Fuck that. No, so you want Mo
He was
playing?
on the Brits. Do you remember? Did you watch the Brits? Did anyone watch the Brits? Harry Kane presented an award on the Brits, which was absolutely unbelievable. He did very well, but I don't want to say it like for Harry Kane. But yeah, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him win any trophies.
The weird logic that Mason came out with was, you know, City played a strong side at Everton and then got beat by Liverpool, so Liverpool have learned a lesson from that. And it was like, I don't really get it. Other than the other thing as well, of course, is that Liverpool haven't really got a huge squad and loads of choices where they can rest a load of players. You know, Solanke and Ings coming in again. I mean, that wasn't great to watch at Everton, was it?
Nah, I don't.
Put Marwin, let him score an hat-trick.
It's a full week since the last game, so they'll have a nice week. They'll all be dying to play as well. Like Mo Salah wants to score as many goals. He wants to win that golden boot. He wants to be on the pitch at the minute. All of those players will be buzzing for each game, whether it's the Champions League, whether it's the Premier League, and say just keep playing them. I think, you know, you maybe look at the game before the away leg as one that you rest him, give him this game, give him you know, he plays against Roma, and then the one in between, but yeah.
We're at home, aren't we, on Tuesday? Yeah. So it's like, you know, there's no big trip involved. West Brom isn't you know, a far trip. It's only in the Midlands. Klopp's doing his press conference early this morning. No one really seems to know why, but I wonder whether it's just, you know, it means they can get down there, they're savvy, and do a bit of training maybe.
I think it's to do with it playing, them training at the same time as they play.
Yeah, maybe, because, you know, it's half 12 kickoff.
He hates half 12 kickoffs, and even Trent Alexander-Arnold, when he was in off camera, said he didn't like them either. I don't think the players like them too much. I think they're eating pasta and chicken for their breakfast. Don't fancy that. So you know, it might be a case of training at the same time as they're playing, maybe going through the same routine, and then heading to Birmingham, like you say. It
might be a bit more of a difficult game now that Pardew's gone the bad dad dancing bell end, because
I watched that dance this morning. It just doesn't get any better. It doesn't age well, to be honest.
I mean, Darren Moore seems like a top fella, and it seems like West Brom have sort of got their act together a little bit with him in charge. They all like him, which is a bonus. I mean, it's nice if you like your boss, isn't it? And if you don't, well, fuck off. So I mean, they got the shit together. They beat United, and it might be a little bit more of a difficult game for Liverpool now. But the other thing as well is I just want to see it sorted in the league. Really, I want us to finish as high as we possibly can. I want us to get this top 4 spot sorted. And because everyone's played this week, games in hands and stuff like that, you know, the league table now is looking a bit more settled. City have still got a game in hand on everyone else, but you know, they've won the league and they're sort of out of the equation, if you like. So how it currently reads is United are second on 74 points, Liverpool are third on 70, Tottenham are fourth on 68, and Chelsea are 5th on 63. They beat Burnley 2-1 last night. So it's looking, it's looking quite tight there now. All those teams that I just mentioned, all on 34 games, 4 games left. So we just need to keep winning. I think I've said a few times. Well, I think we need to keep winning as well, just to keep spirits high, keep momentum going, and also show the world that we can beat whatever challenge is put in front of us. I mean, the good sides just always win, don't they? All these years where we watched United and we're like, they just always win, these bastards, no matter what. We've got to become that side.
Yeah, they just. I think that was the thing about the Palace game a few weeks back, whereby they just find a way to win, and that's through a Mo Salah goal. But that's what great sides throughout the Premier League years, really. And as you think of what United used to always do, and it used to piss me off, was they'd play terribly, they'd be drawn, then Fergie time or whatever you want to call it, they'd score right at the end, and Liverpool found a way to win in that game. But since then, they've just steamrolled teams, sometimes without even getting out of second gear, and it just feels like they're hitting the point now where, coming into the business end, coming into some massive games over the next 10 days, that this Liverpool side are just hitting their peak, and just in time as well.
Let's hope they continue to do that tomorrow. Chris Kirkland, lovely fella. He's been talking on Loris Karius on LiverpoolFC.com. Basically just talking about the improvements in the goalkeeper situation at Liverpool. Karius was given the number one, if you like, before the 4-3 win over City at Anfield in January. Since then, he's kept 9 clean sheets in 16 appearances, and Kirkland's been quite honest about it and just said, he didn't think that the chopping and changing between goalkeepers helped matters. He says you need to be in, you need to get your eye in, you can't come in and out, especially with the pace of the game and the quality of players now. It's difficult to come in and out of games and pick up the pace straight away. We've seen in the games Karius has played on the spin that he's been solid. That's helped by having a run of games. Hopefully that'll continue. I'm sure he'll play now, barring injuries, for the rest of the season, and he's got to be extremely proud of the way he's played. Kirkland goes on, he says he's made some great saves at important times. His distribution, I think he's learned when it's got to go and when he can play it. When he first came into the team, he was taking a little bit too long to the side. Now his decision making is spot on, and some of the saves he's made have been brilliant. I've seen a few people sort of still bemoaning the goalkeeper situation, and there's still people saying we should still go out really and get an absolute belter, because it does look like Mignolet will move on. It doesn't look like he really rates Ward, because he's never got to go even at the height of the goalkeeper crisis, if you like. But I'd quite like the idea of getting an absolute belter in, but I'm genuinely all right with Karius now. I was the same as anyone in that I was like, I'm not sure about this fella. Yeah. Certainly wasn't sure about Mignolet, and I'd had enough of watching him. But you've got to give him all the credit, because he's played really well, hasn't he? He's made some great saves.
He has. He's proved me wrong, really. I really didn't rate him at all. And I remember about sort of 5 months ago doing Talking Reds and saying that I didn't see why Karius was being be earlier than be 3.5 months ago when he brought him in for City, and sort of said I didn't really understand why he'd now chosen to go with Karius, because anytime he played, it felt as if he'd conceded goals and soft goals at that, and he wasn't making the saves that he should. But he's turned it completely around. Like you say, when I see him in the team sheet, I'm not worried, I'm not scared. He's made some big saves while he's been playing as well, and the number of clean sheets, that's testimony to just how well he's done and how well the defence in front of him have done as a unit as well. So look, if there's a goalkeeper that's better than Karius out there that we can get, and Alisson, if Jurgen Klopp believes someone like Alisson is better and is a world beater, then I'm well in favour of just going out and buying him, because we've seen Jurgen Klopp be ruthless before, and we know he's a ruthless manager in terms of he does have patience, but he's ruthless. He'll make the decisions, and if there is someone out there like an Alisson that he thinks he can get and it's going to improve us by that extra 10%, then I go for him. But in terms of the now, we could be in a Champions League final with Loris Karius, and I wouldn't be worried by that. I trust him. And I think his defenders trust him too now.
I think you can feel that as well in the ground. I think Dan Morgan was saying on the big question this week that you feel it in the ground now. There isn't that panic when it goes near the goalkeeper. There isn't that panic when the opposition have got a corner. Obviously people like Van Dijk have helped with that as well. But in general, as a unit, the defence now is working a lot better. Give this a shout, because I'm going to substitute you out. for the second bit. There's not loads to talk about in the papers, and why we're preparing this show. The big news is that Arsene Wenger has announced that he's finally leaving Arsenal after 22 years. And we were saying yesterday, how does it happen that he ever leaves Arsenal? Well, how it happens is he decides, and he has decided that this is the last season as Arsenal manager. So as you know, we have an Arsenal fan behind the camera, Sam. So he's going to join me for the second bit. I'll fly through the headlines that we're not going to discuss because Wenger's a bigger story, and then we'll ask Sam about Wenger.
Sam's big break.
Sam's big break.
He looks excited, he looks nervous.
He's nearly crying behind there.
I'll be behind the camera from now on, won't I? It'll be Sam in with you. So we've got a new Salah t-shirt. Here it is. Can you see that, Sam? Yeah. Lovely, designed by Sam as well. A man of many, what's the word?
Talents, yeah.
It's been a long week. New Salah top. That is Salah in Arabic. Looks nice, doesn't it? Look smart. The Egyptian king.
Do you know that you read it that way? In Arabic.
Knowledge from Gareth. But yeah, it looks really, really good. I like it. You can get it on our store, £15. Bargain. Yeah. And I had it on yesterday as well. It's like good quality.
It's flying out as well. It's flying out like Gibbo's panicking, isn't he? Because basically like loads and loads of orders coming overnight, and like he dropped in the WhatsApp group. Anyone got half an hour tomorrow? Because you got to get them all to the post office now and get them out. But that will happen. So if you want one, get involved.
It'll look nice in Rome.
They are flying out.
Could look nice in Kiev as well.
Yeah. It's a belter of a top. So get involved. theanfieldapp.com. Just click on shop. You will find it there. Okay then. So we're gonna be back in a minute, and we're gonna have a chat about the Wenger fella. Okay, we're back then, and the papers first off then, as I said to you before the break, not loads in there to have a big chat about anyway, and it's all being sort of succeeded by the news that Wenger is leaving Arsenal after 22 years, but dead quick. Everton have said sorry to Sam Allardyce. If you missed Talking Reds yesterday, please do watch it, because you got the reaction there of a real Everton fan to being surveyed about Sam Allardyce. So we're watching just for that. Elsewhere,
did you ever find out who that was?
Never found out who that was, mate. No, mystery Everton fan. 140 million for Pogba. Says the Mail, continuing to be obsessed with Paul Pogba. Yawn. The Sport in the Times. Support me, says Sam Allardyce. Mate, you're getting the sack, aren't you? They all hate you. They were literally singing the whole end the other week. Fuck off, Sam Allardyce. I don't think you need a survey to see what the fans think. Done that. Back at the Echo, Mane basically saying he wants to make up for the fact that he missed the end of last season with injury. Go ahead then, lad. Slot on that trick tomorrow. That'll do nicely. Okay then, Arsene Wenger, mate. 22 years as Arsenal manager. He's put a statement out this morning. You haven't heard the statement.
I know. I'm worried I'm going to be crying live on camera.
Arsenal.
Is it emotional?
Arsenal fan. Well, I like it. I like it. I like Wenger. I do like him. I know we've got stuck into Arsenal and stuff, but I don't think we've been getting stuck into him as a man, because I like him as well. I like the way he came out yesterday about safe standing and just said, yeah, absolutely, creates a better atmosphere. The Premier League is slow in making decisions. Why not? And I thought, well then, because loads of managers will just swerve that, won't they? Do a PR answer, and so good on him. But anyway, Wenger, 3 Premier League titles, 7 FA Cups, 33 points behind City this season, though. Yeah. But yeah, this is a statement. Then you ready, mate?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Come on. After careful consideration and following discussions with the club, I feel it is the right time for me to step down at the end of the season. I am grateful for having had the privilege to serve the club for so many memorable years. I managed the club with full commitment and integrity. I want to thank the staff, the players, the directors and the fans who make this club so special. I urge our fans to stand behind the team, to finish on a high, and to all the Arsenal lovers, take care of the values of the club. My love and support forever. It's lovely, that, isn't it?
That is good. It's poetic.
It's lovely, that, from Wenger. Now, how are you feeling about it, mate? I mean, you've been down and out a little bit about Arsenal, haven't you? And you've been like, where do we go and where are we heading as a club? So now it's happening. What do you think?
It's funny, on my way into work this morning, I was listening to an Arsenal podcast, and on it they were talking about the whole Wenger situation, they were talking about, whether he should stay and go, and they're very much in the camp of he should go. It's time for a change, obviously thanks for everything, if you know what I mean, but it's really time to go. And as I was coming in, I was like, you know what? Yeah, they're right, it's time to freshen it up. And then I saw the headline and I was like, no, please don't go. I felt really quite emotional, and it's like anything like that, isn't it? When you have situations like that, suddenly you sort of think, oh, it's only 6. And then I started thinking about all the cups and that. Yeah, the good times. And
I mean, how old are you, Sam?
I'm 37.
So he's been manager of Arsenal since you were 15?
Yeah. 15, 16, yeah. So
that's mad.
Yeah, it is mental. Like I remember George Graham and him, and he's been such an important part. And I actually remember thinking when Arsenal were really at their peak, I remember actually, this is probably quite typically Arsenal, sort of worrying about it then, like, well, he's going to have to go one day, isn't he? And I started like thinking, how are they ever going to replace someone like this who's done so well? I think he's just now far and away the greatest manager we've had, and I'm not just saying that.
Well, you worked there as well, didn't you? And so you had some little mini experiences of Wenger, and he, I mean, you've said it before on some of our podcasts that he had sort of almost complete control over the whole club, an absolute sort of figurehead, if you like, not just a coach, not just a manager, but everything.
Yeah, he did, down to the smallest sort of detail, he was there. And I think that's probably why it's taken a little bit of time for the club to find a replacement, because it's not a case of one in, one out. They have to think about how him leaving affects the whole system of the club, and how, the coaching side of it, because they didn't have a director of football for a long time, and he's just so sort of ingrained in the club, and he touches so many sort of aspects of it that it's going to be quite a feat to replace him. I remember actually once, just quickly, they were doing a Puma advert while I was there, and Wenger couldn't spare too much time, so they got a lookalike in. Oh my God. And so I was there with this lookalike. It was brilliant. And then Wenger turned up, and they met. And it was like this weird dream. And Wenger came over and went, hello. And he went, what, mate? It was really surreal. I've got a photo of it. I'll flash it up now.
Yes. Are you worried then about what happens next? Because you've obviously seen what's happened to other clubs when a big figurehead leaves. Manchester United, obviously the most obvious recent one. They get Moyes in, that doesn't work. Van Gaal, that doesn't work. Even Mourinho now, it's like he doesn't seem to get on with people. He seems to be winding people off the wrong way, and that sort of thing. There's every possibility that doesn't work as well. Is there a little bit of a worry in your head that it is almost impossible to replace this fella? A little bit, yeah. I think, especially when you saw the Moyes thing, that really made you sort of think, oh God, it's not as easy as just bringing in someone. It can just sort of go wrong. However, like I was saying a minute ago, how it's going to take a bit of time to sort of get all the new people in place. Over the past year, they have been doing that. So they've brought in a couple of new guys. I think they're from Borussia Dortmund, maybe, to help with sort of the scouting and help with the sort of, behind the scenes stuff, I suppose. So I like to think that maybe they're getting some systems in place where the transition will be fairly easy, and if someone does come in, it's not going to be like there's going to be support there for them. And also, I think if Wenger's involved as much as he is, he'll probably be having a say in who replaces him. So although Ferguson was involved in getting money. So so just quickly then, some of the odds already for the next manager already out there. The bookies don't mess about, do they? And Thomas Tuchel, I'll obviously pronounce.
He's going to PSG, isn't he?
Well, he's 4-1. He's the favourite. I'll probably pronounce every single one of these wrong. I'm well aware that I'm crap at this guy. Patrick Vieira, who we talked about yesterday, 5-1. And also, interestingly, Wenger has said something about him.
Yes.
Said he's been impressed by his jobs so far and that sort of thing. Ancelotti 6-1. Say his name.
Jurgi Low.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Go ahead. 5-1. Massimiliano Allegri.
I I want him. He's my guy.
Oh, I'd never be able to say his name though. He's 8-1. Some others: Rodgers, Brendan Rodgers, 8-1. Benitez, 14-1. Thierry Henry, 12-1. Nah. Eddie Howe, 20-1. Bergkamp, 22.
Who's right down at the far end?
Oh, don't worry, I'm coming to
Okay.
that. Any other ones that sort of jump out?
Is that Ronald Koeman?
Yeah, Ronald Koeman, 25-1. Ranieri, 33-1. Frank de Boer, 33-1. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, 33-1. I haven't heard his name mentioned for a long time. Zidane, 33-1. But yeah, getting to some of the bigger names.
I've just seen it. Oh, God.
Sam Allardyce, 40-1. Come on! Make it happen. How funny would that be? Imagine Arsene Wenger ends up as Everton manager and you end up with Allardyce. Jesus, guys, I think we would see Sam in the Mersey off that one. Jurgen Klopp, 50-1. Which is a bit mad. You know, he's literally just been out there going on about how long his contract is and now he's going to have a break at the end of it.
Pep Guardiola, notice that?
Pep Guardiola, 66-1. Klinsmann, 80-1. And I love this one. Sol Campbell, 100-1. Because he's popular, isn't he? So, yeah, I mean, who'd you fancy out of all of them?
I like Allegri. I like what he's done at Juventus. He seems to have shored things up. And I like that seems like a bit of a hard nut. You know what I mean? He doesn't mess around. And I think one of the criticisms levelled at Wenger over the past few years is that it's all a bit soft, it's all a bit nice, you know. And I think that's what a lot of Arsenal fans have been wanting. They want to change. They want to change it up. They want to just mix it up and have something different. And I think he might be the person to give you something different. Whether when that actually happens and we're not playing lovely football, you know, we might be like, oh, you know, I didn't want us to like grind out 0-0s, you know. However, I think for me, he's the guy. I like him.
Okay.
I've been watching that Juventus documentary as well.
Oh yeah, any good?
Yeah, it's good. I think he's cool.
Is it a bit being Liverpool though?
A little bit.
I will be watching that then. Okay, podcasting that. It is a lovely day today again in Liverpool. So, you know, if you're walking the dog, going for a run, on your bike, driving your car, whatever you're doing, you can do it with the Anfield app because there's loads and loads of podcasts every single day about the Reds. It's an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan, as we always say, because it is. Looking forward to the big semi-final with Roma Tuesday. So there's a team talk which Craig's already ran off and got involved in. They're going to react to Jurgen Klopp's press conference, which he's held early today, which I mentioned. That will be out very soon. There is a Slingsby AFQ later on tonight, which Slingsby is some lovely gin. They sponsor the AFQ, and everyone who's on the AFQ drinks the lovely gin.
It is lovely.
So, you know, see what happens with that. Get involved with that. And the City Talk show is out there as a podcast later on tonight, and also live 6 o'clock on the radio. So listen live or listen as a podcast. Do what you like. That one's free. Have a lovely weekend. And now you know what Sam's all about. There he is. He's no longer that man who mutters behind the camera. He's in front of it now. We're breaking all kinds of rules. It's the Anfield app. It's been Talking Reds. See you next week.